Our story begins with a hard worker named Noor who does some jobs around town. Noor is well respected by everyone for his hard work, and he makes a decent living. One day when being paid, Noor hears a girl calling for help, and he rushes into a cave to find that she's being attacked by a dangerous monster. A look back to 15 years ago, a young Noor making some medicine for his sick mother. The hard-working Noor gets ready to feed the goats, so his mother reminds him not to go beyond a certain boulder. His mother is clearly very sick, so Noor plans to go to boil some more water, but his mother stops him. She apologizes for not being able to do anything for him, and she tells Noor to live the life he wants. That night Noor makes dinner, but he is terrified when he finds that his mother passed away. Noor puts his mother to rest the next day, and begins learning how to live life all on his own. Noor's life is filled with responsibility, but he has no one by his side. One night Noor finds a book, and it reminds a memory from when his father used to read to him. This story in particular was about an adventurer who slayed a dragon with his comrades. They learned magic spells from a sorcerer, and broke a curse that was cast upon a forest. The adventurers group was highly respected, as they always raised their swords and struck down evil, for the sake of weak people. Noor is still amazed by adventurers, and he remembers how his mother told him to live the life he wanted to live. One day Noor decides to leave home for the first time ever, and Noor declares that he will become an adventurer. Noor says goodbye to his deceased parents, and exits the barrier protecting his home. After days of traveling, Noor is amazed by the sight of the big royal capital. Noor enters it for the first time, and is amazed at all the people there. Noor is especially amazed by one guy who looks like an adventurer, and he eventually arrives at his destination. It is the Adventurers Guild that the guards at the front gate told him about, but the clerk tells him to leave, as it is not a place for kids. The clerk tells Noor to go back to his parents, but Noor says that they both passed away. The clerk warms up to him a bit, and explains that those wanting to register at the Royal Capital's Adventurers Guild must first take lessons at the Royal Training Schools. He suggests that if Noor really wants to become an adventurer, then he must acquire some skills first. Noor hears that this means stuff like magic and the sword techniques, so Noor gets excited to go to the schools. Heroes in storybooks are strong enough to defeat dragons as big as mountains with just one strike, so Noor is eager to learn how to become a hero. Noor attends the School of Swordsmans, but he can only watch as his classmates begin unlocking their magical powers. Noor's instructor eventually grows tired of waiting for Noor to unlock his powers, and tells him that continuing to try would only be a waste of his time. The only thing Noor has learned to do is parrying to evade an attack. The instructor thinks that Noor should choose a different path, and he suggests that he try a different training school. Noor does and arrives at a school for warriors. Warriors risk their lives as shields for their comrades, so Noor finds some optimism, because that is pretty close to being an adventurer. Warrior training is incredibly hard, but even after a few months of training, Noor's physical abilities only improve slightly. The instructor warns that Noor will lose his life if he continues to push himself, so Noor is told to try hunter training instead. Unfortunately, Noor is told that he is terrible with delicate weaponry, so Noor tried thief training instead. Noor isn't suited for that either though, so Noor tries magic training. Noor is only able to create the tiny flames, even after months of training, and Oken is shocked because it is rare to see people as incapable of using magic as Noor is. Noor's last attempt is to become a cleric, but he can barely manage to heal scratches after months. The clerk is shocked to hear that Noor couldn't learn a single useful skill after spending 3 months training at each school, and he unfortunately tells Noor that he cannot register as an adventurer. The discouraged Noor realizes that he has no talent and returns home. Noor is more sure than ever that he has no talent. However, this does not stop Noor, and Noor declares that he just needs to train much harder. Noor makes his own sword, and remembers what his sword instructor told him. Sig said that if Noor practices one skill repeatedly, he might be able to master a new skill. Parrying was the only real skill Noor acquired from training, so Noor decided to train at morning, noon, and night for as long as he could. 1 year later, Noor has improved his parry skill so much that he can now evade 10 swords in one breath. Noor doesn't have any new skills yet, but his parry skill has improved immensely. 3 years later, Noor is now able to evade 100 swords in one breath. However, Noor still doesn't have any new skills, so Noor determines that he has no chance of ever becoming an adventurer. Noor continues training, eventually destroying his sword and seeing a light in his hand. Noor is incredibly determined and decides that he needs to train even harder. 10 years later, Noor thinks about how he has trained every day without fail, and now Nor can parry 1,000 wooden swords. Unfortunately, Nor still has not learned any new skills. Nor decides to try and become an adventurer one last time, and heads back to the capital. At the guild, the clerk sees that he only knows the weakest skills. She suggests that Nor should go to the training schools, but Nor explains that he has already tried all of them. The clerk apologized because Nor could not be allowed to register, but Nor expected this. Just then the old clerk appears, but he doesn't recognize Nor. The clerk eventually remembers him, and he is glad to hear that Nor has been training on his own. Nor explains that it hasn't gone well at all though, because he only managed to improve his parry skill a little. The old clerk explains that adventurers are ranked from E to S rank. In order to be recognized as an E rank, a person must have more than one useful skill. Nor's list of skills doesn't show anything useful, so Nor's dreams are crushed again. However, the old clerk says that there is more than one way to become an adventurer. There is something lower than E rank, and that is F rank. Nor can't believe that he might still be able to become an adventurer this way, but there are some conditions. Nor would be forbidden from taking any quest that involved hunting or venturing out of the city to gather herbs. This means that Nor will only be able to accept tasks around the city. No one bothers becoming an adventurer this way, but the clerk is shocked when Nor eagerly wants to do it. Nor registers, so the clerk gives him his F-rank adventurer license. The clerk doesn't think it is a big deal, but this is life-changing for Nor, so he thanks him. Nor enhances his strength a bit and gets right to work doing tasks around the town. Nor silences his footsteps to catch a cat and uses heel to fix some scratches he got from the cat. Nor uses his tiny flame to make dinner and do a rock trick to entertain some kids. Nor has finally achieved his dream of becoming an adventurer that helps people, and Nor fears that asking for anything more would be too much. Then we return to the present, where Nor runs into the cave and finds people being attacked by a monster. Nor has only seen monsters in books, and Nor is shocked to see how big it is. Some guards try to protect a girl, and the captain gets attacked. Nor goes to check on him, but finds that the captain is already gone. The monster ferociously attacks the other guards, and Nor can tell that they won't survive. A minute later, Nor's fear proves to be correct, as the monster eliminates all the guards. Monster turns its attention to the girl, but Nor uses a stone to attack to get its attention. Nor knows what he has to do, so he runs to get some space, and Nor realizes how fast the monster is. Then Nor turns to it, and uses parry skill, which sends the monster flying. The monster attacks him again, so Nor uses his parry skill, but Nor knows that he will lose his life if he gets hit by an attack. Nor plans to wait for an opening so he can counterattack, but Nor remembers that that won't work, because he doesn't have any attack skills. Nor sees that the girl still hasn't run away, and the monster seems to be attracted to her ring. The monster goes to attack her, but Nor uses his feather step skill to speed up, and he parries its attack. His sword shatters, but Nor declares that even if he can't become an adventurer hero, he wants to at least be able to protect this girl. Nor remembers how his father said that adventurers raise their swords to strike down evil for the weak, so Nor prepares himself for the monster's attack. Then Nor uses parry skill with perfect timing to stop the monster's attack, and Nor's parry slips the monster's head right off. Nor realizes that he would have been a goner if the monster was any bigger, so now Nor knows how unrealistic it would be for him to travel the world and go on adventures at his current level. The girl thanks Nor for saving her life, and she would like to know his name. Nor simply says that he is no one important, and leaves. That night Nor thinks about how one monster who wasn't even strong was such a problem for him. Nor shakes uncontrollably and once again determines that he must continue to train harder. A look back in the cave, the aftermath of Nor's battle against the monster. A knight apologizes for not being there to protect the girl Lin, but Lin says it's okay, because there is no point in having an escort for the trials for the right to the throne. It was Lin's decision in the first place, and she apologizes to the knight named Ines for making her worry. Lin's brother Rain learns about what happened, and he wonders if someone summoned the Minotaur to the city. It is a monster that resides in the abyss, the deepest layer of the dungeon, so someone had to bring it to the surface. The royal knight agrees with him, and explains that the source is thought to be a ring found on the corpse of a merchant at the scene. The mage Oaken analyzed the ring, and found that it had a very high-quality stone that would not be found on the market. The crest on the stone indicates that the ring originates from the magic empire of Deridas. This isn't the first time they have been antagonized by Deridas. This time a monster was summoned, and Princess Len was bound by a barrier, so they realized that they must be careful. Deridas not only wanted to eliminate Lin, but they were also after the kingdom's most valuable resource, the relics of the Dungeon of the Lost. Rain decides to change topics to the mysterious man who saved Lin. A report says that the guy used a single broadsword, and he defeated the Minotaur in just a matter of seconds. The knights followed him after, but the report says that he disappeared before their eyes, like an illusion. It all sounds pretty unbelievable, so Rain wonders just who this guy is. Back at the guild, the old clerk is shocked to see that Noor is still alive because he heard that a monster appeared near the entrance of the dungeon. It was a monster like they had never seen before, and they couldn't find Noor afterwards. Noor thinks about how he was busy getting away from a strange group of people following him, but Noor just tells the cleric that he was tired and went home. The clerk explains that Noor is really lucky that he didn't bump into the monster. The clerk used to be in A rank, but even he would have lost his life if he encountered the monster. Noor assumes that the clerk is talking about a different monster than the one he fought, because it was actually just a big cow, not a monster. The clerk explains that a mysterious man defeated the monster with one blow, and the clueless Noor is amazed that there are outstanding people like that out in the world. The clerk pays Noor for his work, but wonders why Noor isn't more interested in taking a proper job. Noor has no clue what he is talking about, so the clerk once again has to explain to him that there is a way Noor can earn 30% more without the clerk taking a cut. Just then they're interrupted as Lin appears, and the clerk is shocked to see her. Lin is glad to have found Noor using her long-distance detection skill, and Lin apologizes for doing so, but explains that she just had to meet him. Noor assumes that she has thief skills, but Lin explains that her focus is magic, and she also has knowledge of all 6 skill systems. Everyone is staring at them, so she would like to speak outside. The clerk is uneasy though, and wonders what kind of trouble Noor got himself into. Lin explains that talking outside would be better because there are less people there, and no one will be able to hear them when she uses her soundproofing and concealment spell. Noor wonders if it is a good idea to go with her, but the clerk tells them that he must. Outside, Noor overhears that everyone is searching for the mystery man, but they begin to wonder if he even really exists. Noor wonders who they are searching for, but Lin tells him not to worry because they can't be detected. Lin did all this to thank him for saving her life, and Lin explains that Noor actually saved the lives of many others in the nation. Noor points out that Lin is pretty strong herself, and Noor thinks he actually just interfered with her fight. Lin can't imagine what would have happened to her if it wasn't for Noor, so Noor decides to accept her thanks. Lin wants to compensate him with her deepest gratitude, but the humble Noor says it's not necessary. Her father even wants to thank Noor personally, but Noor also says that's going too far. Lin explains that she is a person of high status, so she must give something to the person she owes her life to. Lin gets frustrated though when Noor rejects all her offers because Noor doesn't need anything. Lin eventually begins to cry and declares that Noor is obligated to accept her gratitude, so Lin refuses to move an inch until Noor does. This makes Noor remember the determination he had when trying to train at the schools, and Noor said he wouldn't leave either. Noor agrees to her demands because simply meeting her father doesn't seem like much of a problem. Noor is surprised when Lin gets really cautious about it, and Lin explains that she doesn't want people to spot them. To keep that from happening, Lin uses concealment, detection occlusion, and multiple other skills to hide them. Noor is shocked to see how huge her house is, but Lin says it's pretty common for her kind of family. Noor finally gives her his name, and then realizes that Lin hasn't formally introduced herself yet. Her name is Linbird Clays, and she goes as Lin when she is adventuring. Noor can't believe how huge Lin's house is, so Noor assumes that Lin is some kind of noble. Lin asks Ines where her father is, and Ines explains that he is speaking with Rain. Lin explains that Noor is her special guest, and Noor is the one who risked his life to save hers. Ines is shocked to hear this, and decides to take them to Lin's father. Noor is completely lost at this point, as Noor assumes that Ines is the family maid. Although Noor thinks it would be strange, since she would have a tough time cleaning and doing laundry in her outfit. Ines is very serious, and Noor can tell that she seems suspicious of him. On their way, some guy aggressively wonders who Noor is, and Noor realizes that this house is pretty dangerous. This guy's name is Gilbert, and Ines tells them that Noor is their special guest. Gilbert realizes that this is the guy everyone is looking for, but he doesn't think that Noor looks very special. Ines tells Gilbert to accompany them, and secretly reveals that she is skeptical of Noor, so the more escorts they have the better. Gilbert becomes very serious, and agrees to go with them. Nearby, the king is upset, because Deridas is ignoring the peace treaty. They demanded that they hand over all the rights to the dungeon, and offered to lend them his military power in return. The king knew that it was a scummy deal that would ruin his nation, so he refused, but Derrida's king told him that he would regret his words. Rain explains that Derrida's is not the only threat they're facing, and the king realizes that it's finally time for something. Just then Lin arrives with everyone. Noor doesn't notice everyone else bowing down, and he just walks right up to Lin's father. Rain sees that Lin is wearing the hermit's cloak, and Rain is furious because it means that Lin went outside. Lin explains that she had to find the person who saved her life, and Lin introduces Noor to her father. Lin's father is glad that he came, and Noor explains that he isn't a noble, so he doesn't know proper etiquette in these situations. Lin's father actually prefers it this way, because it makes him easier to talk to, and he formally thanks Noor for saving his daughter. Noor accepts his words, as that is all the gratitude he needs, and Noor is relieved that it's finally all over with, so he can head straight home now. Lin's father wants to reward him properly though, and offers to give him money and land. King wants to know what Noor desires, but Noor just says that he doesn't want anything like that. Then Lin's father offers treasures from the dungeon. Their country possesses the world's oldest dungeon, and its treasures are incredibly rare. All the items found in the dungeon are stored in a treasure hall, so King offers to let Noor take half of the items stowed away in there. Rain is shocked as he points out that his father is being way too generous, but Noor once again declines. Noor doesn't need anything fancy, and their kind words are enough for him. Lin's father doesn't know what to give a man that doesn't want money, land, or treasure, but Noor just wants to get out of there. Lin's father resorts to his most extreme offer, and shows Noor the sword he keeps behind his throne. Rain wonders what his father is thinking, but the king explains that it's okay, because the sword has become nothing more than a mere decoration at this point. Giving it to Noor would be way better than just letting it sit unused, and no one will notice if he replaces it with the replica anyway. No one can believe that the king is giving Noor this sword, and Noor is shocked by how heavy it is. Noor can tell that the sword is priceless, so Noor declares that he can't accept such a gift. Lin's father explains that it is just something he picked up, and he only used it because he liked it. It's really not that big of a deal, so Noor decides to accept it. Lin's father tells him to try it out, so Noor enhances his strength, and the powerful swing Noor takes shocks everyone. Lin's father is impressed by how Noor can swing it one-handed, and he asks Noor if he can help train his daughter. Things are getting pretty dangerous, so King is worried about her, but Noor doesn't think there is anything he can teach her. On top of that, Noor thinks that parents shouldn't interfere too much with their children, and Lin should decide that for herself. Lin's father completely agrees with him, and Noor thinks about how this guy likes to laugh a lot. Noor decides that it's time for him to go, so Lin's father thanks him once again. As Noor leaves, he can't help but think that he was given something very valuable. Just then Noor realizes that this sword is the same weight as a drain he is always cleaning for some old lady, and Noor wonders if it would make his job easier. Out of nowhere, Ines appears to speak with Noor. Noor wonders if he is in trouble, but Noor is shocked when Ines gets to knee. Ines apologizes for treating him poorly, especially since Noor saved Len's life. Noor accepts her apology, so Ines explains that it's her job to protect the Clay family, and that takes priority over everything. Noor realizes that Ines isn't a maid at all, so Ines explains that she is actually known as the Divine Shield, and she serves as vice captain of the Clay family warrior corps. At a very young age, Ines was appointed as a shield for Lin. It's her job to protect Lin, even if it costs her life. Noor saves Lin, so Ines says that it is the same as Noor saving her life. Noor doesn't think it is a big deal, but Ines vows to help him however she can from now on. Noor thinks about how everyone there is pretty excessive, but decides to just accept her sentiment. Then Ines gets very serious, and points out that while Lin may have allowed it, Noor's speech and casual behavior towards the king were unacceptable. Ines cannot allow it anymore, so she demands that Noor refrain from doing it ever again. Noor apologizes, and he formally introduces himself. For some reason Ines is shocked to hear that his name is Noor, but she says it's nothing. Just then Gilbert stops Noor from going home, and demands that Noor show him what he can do in battle. Noor is pretty exhausted, and he would rather go home, so Noor is shocked when Gilbert insists that they have a mock battle. Noor has no clue what to expect, because he hasn't had a training partner since he went to those schools 14 years ago. Gilbert explains that he is pretty famous for his fighting skills, and Gilbert instructs Noor to choose a weapon. Noor realizes that this opportunity is a rare chance for an aspiring adventurer, so Noor picks a sword, and declares that he is ready for battle. Noor doesn't think he will be much of a challenge for Gilbert, so he plans to just take the battle as a chance to train with someone more skillful than him. The troops watching feel bad for Noor, as Noor prepares to fight their captain, and they hope that Noor will enjoy the afterlife. Gilbert initiates the battle, but Noor easily dodges his attacks. Noor is amazed by how well Gilbert controls his pace, and by how polished his movements are. Noor can tell that Gilbert trained a lot to get to this point, but Noor can't understand why Gilbert is so slow. Noor doesn't seem to realize what is really going on, as Noor determines that Gilbert just doesn't think that he is worthy of seeing even a glimpse of what he can actually do. Noor stops the fight, and says that he knows that Gilbert is taking it easy on him. Then Noor tells Gilbert to not hold back so much. Gilbert didn't realize it, but figures that he must have been holding back because Noor is just a normal human. Gilbert apologizes, and goes at Noor more seriously. Noor can tell that Gilbert is much faster now, and what is even more impressive is that Gilbert is leaving himself wide open after his attacks. Noor doesn't even consider that Gilbert isn't doing it on purpose, but just assumes that Gilbert is doing it to lure him in. Gilbert gets frustrated as he can't land an attack, but Noor just thinks that Gilbert isn't taking him seriously. Gilbert decides to show him a different move that changes in mid-attack, but Noor easily avoids it as well, and Noor thinks about how it wasn't even close to hitting him. Noor tells Gilbert that he can speed up more, but Noor finally begins to wonder if Gilbert is already giving it his all. Noor thinks about all the solitary training he did, and begins to consider that he might actually have gotten stronger. Noor begins to think that he might actually be able to win, but Gilbert interrupts his thought, as he uses an incredibly powerful attack. Gilbert is shocked when the dust clears, and Noor is no longer there. Noor just tells Gilbert that he wins the mock battle, but this just horrifies Gilbert. After Noor leaves, all the troops wonder how someone could have avoided their captain's drag rave attack. They rationalize it by saying that the wind force from the training spear Gilbert was using sent Noor flying, and if Gilbert was using a battle spear, then Noor surely would have lost his head. They know that someone with Gilbert's talent is 1 in a million, but Gilbert is pretty upset. Gilbert thinks about his past, and how natural it felt the first time he held a spear. The more Gilbert trained, the more he polished his technique, and the more strength he gained. Gilbert went from village to village defeating all the strongest fighters, searching for someone that could defeat him. Gilbert had already defeated everyone in the capital, so Gilbert was hoping to find some great fighter in a village. The nation was close to starting a war, so someone recommended that he return to the capital to search for groups that were assembling their power. Gilbert did return to the capital, where he did some monster hunting. Gilbert heard that someone formidable joined the corps, so he challenged them to fights, and thoroughly destroyed them. Gilbert was just becoming more frustrated, as he wondered if there was really no one that could challenge him. Gilbert was growing tired of all the weaklings surrounding him, and he was getting really bored. One day his instructor informed Gilbert that he had received the same title as him, but Gilbert didn't care. Gilbert was still bored, so the instructor wondered what Gilbert thought of Ines. Gilbert explained that Ines was strong in a different way, but in a mock battle Gilbert assured that he would win against her. Gilbert could tell that his instructor was bored too, because he had to spend all his time training people, which hardly equaled the power of one of his pinkies. The instructor was sure that someday, someone would appear who would surpass him, and Gilbert just hoped that it would happen soon. Now Gilbert thinks about how Noor was the man who defeated a minotaur all by himself. Gilbert wanted to know what kind of person could do that, but now Gilbert realizes that Noor makes no sense. Noor was really discourteous in front of the king, and he showed no interest in the most lavish gifts. Noor didn't seem like the kind of guy who could take down a monster on his own, but their battle showed him something different. Noor telling him that he could speed up made Gilbert go at him with full force. Gilbert has always known that using his most powerful technique on someone would result in them losing their life, but it was the only way that his spear would be able to land on Noor. Gilbert had no clue what happened when Noor didn't get hit by his attack, and for the first time in a head-on battle, Gilbert was thoroughly defeated. What's even worse is that Noor surrendered, and it seemed to be because Noor didn't want to embarrass Gilbert in front of his subordinates. What's even more humiliating is how casually Noor told him that he hoped they would meet again. After Noor left, Gilbert was shocked to see huge cracks in the ground, because Gilbert didn't even notice when Noor did that. Regardless, Noor evaded his attack while he was using his full strength, so Gilbert becomes happy because things are finally getting exciting. Back with Noor, he realizes he was being foolish by thinking that he was getting stronger. Noor used strength enhancement and feather step, but Noor determined that he was only able to evade Gilbert's attack because Gilbert held back just enough so he could get away. Noor is glad that Gilbert showed him how weak he really is, so Noor is once again determined to get stronger. Noor goes back to doing his F-rank tasks, and Noor is amazed by how well his new sword can clean a drain. It even gets the most hard things at the bottom, and Noor determines that his new sword really is amazing. Noor is glad that his drain cleaning job is going well, but Noor is tense because his soil hauling job is stopped for a while. Noor has this great sword now, so he just wants to be useful to people. Noor thinks of some different ways he could use the sword, but they all have their own problems. When it comes to abilities, the best Noor can do is light up his finger a little bit. Even though Noor trained at so many schools, he could only acquire skills of the lowest level. Just then Lin appears, and Noor remembers that he is supposed to be more formal in front of royalty. Lin doesn't like it, so she tells him to stop and reveals that she has a special request for him. Then Lin declares that she would like for Noor to accept her as his disciple. Noor has no clue what that is. So Lin explains that it is someone who takes care of another person's everyday necessities, as they learn techniques and absorb knowledge from that person. It is kind of like being an apprentice, but just being around Noor would be enough for her. Noor instantly refuses, but Lin assures that she can be of use to him. Lin has achieved the highest marks ever in all 6 training schools, so Lin knows that she would make a great disciple. Noor still rejects, and explains that there is just nothing for him to teach her. Also, Lin can't help him, because he can do what he needs on his own. Lin says her family will pay him generously, but Noor rejects that too. Then Lin offers to be his assistant, but Noor doesn't need her for that either. Lin proves herself with the grand display of magic, and Lin declares that it is the highest level of magic skills that she can use. Then Lin shows off her Mist Blade attack, and instantly slices an entire tree in half. Lin explains that it is a technique from the Thief class, but that isn't all. Then Lin uses her Divine Slash, and it is incredibly powerful. Lin reveals that it is the Divine class skill of a swordsman. Lin is disappointed when Noor rejects her again, and Noor wonders if Lin hasn't mistaken him for a person who is worth learning from. Lin just proved how talented she is, so Noor almost feels pitiful compared to her. All Lin has done is prove even further that there is nothing for Noor to teach her. Lin is very determined, so Noor tries to think of how he can make her understand. He has nothing to teach her, so Noor decides to just show her. Lin demonstrated all her amazing abilities, so Noor showed her the extent of his abilities, his tiny flame. As Lin heads home afterwards, Lin thinks about stories that all the instructors of the 6 schools tell their students. The stories of the young boy with no talent. The students just took the stories as fairy tales, because the idea of such a boy really existing seems impossible. This boy attended all the training schools at the royal capital, known for the harsh training, and he completed the full term of each. That alone was unbelievable, because even the toughest warriors would give up after 3 days in the 3-month course, let alone a child. That is what Lin thought as well, until she met Noor. One day the instructor of magic showed him something interesting. Oken showed her how his tiny flame could get bigger. Instructor Oken explained that depending on the training, even the base level skill tiny flame can grow as large as his. Although it has no practical use, and for the past 200 years Oken has just used it for fun. Lin has tried growing her tiny flame herself countless times, but she could never make the flame even a tiny bit larger. It is clearly not something that can be done easily, and probably requires a devotion to studying for a really long time. This is exactly why Lin was stunned when she saw Noor's tiny flame. It was several times bigger than what the world's greatest sorcerer Oken had done. It was a tiny flame that far outclassed anything she had ever seen. Noor was ashamed of it, and explained that the other 5 class skills he knows are just like this one. Noor doesn't realize it, but all 6 of his class skills are extraordinary. Now Lin is ashamed of herself for trying to show off her skills. Noor fended off a demon attack with a basic sword, but he didn't brag about his power at all, and he just quietly went on working for other people. Noor is clearly strong in mind and body, and he never yields to anyone. Lin will soon be in a position to rule the nation alongside her brother, so she needs to be strong. That is why Lin is determined to learn how to be strong, the same way Noor is strong. That night Lin finds Noor again, and thinks about how she will follow behind Noor wherever he goes until Noor recognizes her as his disciple. This is because the strength her royal family has been looking for resides within Noor. Back in the castle, Rain is upset about his father giving the Black Blade to someone of unknown lineage. Rain's father found the sword in the deepest part of the Dungeon of the Lost. It was an incredibly dangerous quest that yielded the strange sword. The blade is made of an unknown material that is harder than any other. No matter what they tried, nothing could even make a scratch on the sword. Because of this it came to be known as the unbreakable blade. The blade was already pretty beaten up when it was found, so it made everyone question what kind of powerful force could have made it look the way it does. The sword has unthinkable value, so Rain can't understand how the king just gave it away like he did. Rain changes his way of thinking, and realizes a sense of unrest is hanging over their country. In all likelihood Rain determines that his father must be counting on Noor for some reason. Noor is the one who defeated a Minotaur all alone, and saved Lin's life, so it is possible that he might be a secret weapon for whatever is coming in the future. Elsewhere we find Noor with Lin. Noor wonders if it is okay for Lin to be just out like this, but Lin points out that she is an adventurer first. Lin refers to him as her instructor, but Noor wishes she wouldn't. Noor's attempts to clear things up have failed, and Lin just keeps following him everywhere. Noor plans to get some job from the guild. That way Lin will eventually see what kind of person he really is. At the guildmaster wonders why Noor is with the princess, but Lin tells him to call her by her name, because she is an adventurer right now. Guildmaster realizes that he shouldn't stick his nose into others' business, and Noor explains that they are looking for a job which requires 2 people. Lin is a silver B rank, so if the 2 of them form a party, then they can take a goblin hunting job just outside the city. Noor is shocked by this, because goblins are the monsters that adventurers use to put their skills to the test. Noor can't believe that he will be able to take a job outside the city, but Noor feels bad for taking advantage of Lin's adventurer rank. This would be especially bad, because Noor only has tried to get rid of her this entire time. Noor wonders if she would really be okay with it, so Lin excitedly says that she would be honored to form a party with him. Noor feels a bit of shame, but he gets over it because one of his dreams is about to come true. Noor eagerly goes to start the job, but he quickly returns because Guildmaster hasn't told him anything about it yet. Guildmaster warns that while it is a low-rank job, that doesn't mean it won't be dangerous. It will take place in the Forest of Beasts, and they have to bring back the ear of a goblin as proof of a successful hunt. They won't get compensated without the ear, so it is very important. It has been reported that the goblin numbers have been dwindling, so there is a chance that they won't find any goblins. If that happens, Guildmaster tells them to just pick some herbs and bring them back. The 2 leave the city and excitedly tell each other to do their best. As they walk through the forest, Noor asks Lin to tell him about goblins. Lin explains that they hunt small animals as prey and eat the fruits of trees. However, they have been aggressively attacking humans for sustenance recently. If they continue to grow in number, then it will lead to a food shortage for them, and they will likely begin invading human villages. That is why adventurers have been trying to control their numbers. On the other hand, the forest relies on the goblins too, so it is also not good to hunt them completely. Lin clearly has a lot of knowledge, so this just makes Noor realize even more that he has nothing to teach her. Lin keeps checking to see if there are any goblins near them, but they haven't found anything. Normally they would have encountered at least one, so Lin determines that the rumors about their low numbers are true. Just then Lin senses a monster nearby. They go to check, but the forest just keeps getting darker and darker. The tall trees block the sunlight, but the goblins prefer living in places like this. Lin surprisingly stops and reveals that the monster's presence just disappeared. Noor assumes that the monster has just passed away from old age, but they are shocked when they find that the goblin was destroyed. Lin quickly uses reveal magic, and it exposes a giant monster that was eating the other goblin. Noor is shocked to hear that the giant is a goblin as well, because goblins are supposed to be the weakest monster. The giant clearly looks like a goblin, and it even treats some nearby trees like weapons. Noor is so clueless that he assumes that this is what goblins really look like in person, versus what he has heard about them. Not only that, Noor figures that other adventurers can handle them like nothing. Lin is clearly terrified, and Noor doesn't blame her, because Lin doesn't have any combat experience. Noor assures her that they will be fine, and declares that they are only fighting against the goblin. Noor is actually terrified, but Noor knows that he can't think about that if he wants to win. Lin knows that this goblin is the Goblin Emperor, and it is considered an extreme threat. The Goblin Emperor is a monster, created from genetic manipulation by man, and the research behind it is now banned. What makes it really terrifying is that it eats its own kind to absorb that power and grow stronger. Lin thinks about how Noor said they are only fighting a goblin, and she is amazed by his confidence. Lin is just as clueless as Noor, as she now thinks that Noor came to this area on purpose. Lin thinks that the reason Noor was so excited about this job was because Noor wanted to eliminate the threat that no one knew about. Lin gained some confidence because of this, so the two of them prepared to fight. The giant goblin tries to strike first, but Noor masterfully uses his parry skill to repel him. The goblin is incredibly powerful, so it manages to push Noor back. Noor can tell that it's trying to corner him, but Noor refuses to let it. Noor knocks the goblin off balance and tells Lin to follow up with some magic. Lin does, but the goblin proves to be too fast to hit. Just then Noor rescues Lin, as the goblin starts launching trees at them, and Noor keeps using parry to deflect them. Lin knows that she has to do something before things get worse, but Lin is shocked when she notices that the goblin's wound is gone. Not even the Goblin Emperor should be able to recover this quickly, so Lin determines that it must have something to do with the mana crystal on the goblin's forehead. Lin tells Noor that if he can knock it off the goblin, then they might have a chance to win. Their plan is interrupted when the goblin launches a cluster of trees at Noor. Noor is stunned to see how many there are, and Noor realizes that this goblin is watching him to see how many he can parry. Noor fears that he won't be able to parry them all, but luckily Lin deflects them away with magic. The goblin heals again, so Lin is more sure than ever that it is replenishing its power with the mana stone. The two quickly realize that at this rate, they are just going to run out of stamina and magic while they try to keep up. Just then Noor comes up with an idea and tells Lin to use her wind blast attack on his back. Lin refuses to attack Noor because her wind blast is powerful enough to demolish castle walls. Noor won't be able to survive no matter how strong he is, but Noor explains that she won't be attacking him directly. Noor plans to have her hit the sword while it is on his back, because the only chance they have at beating the goblin is to go faster than him. Time is running out as the monster prepares to attack again, so Lin agrees to do it. Lin's wind blast is insanely powerful as it launches Noor across the battlefield, and he nearly passes out. Noor composes himself and enhances his body. This combination allows Noor to break through the goblin's defenses and knock the crystal out of its forehead. The Goblin Emperor loses his mind, and Lin says that she recovered the stone. Noor tells her to finish off the goblin, but also asks her to make sure that it doesn't feel much pain. Lin seemingly doesn't listen to that last part, as she sets Goblin Emperor on fire and it screams in agony. Once the fire is over, Noor apologizes to the goblin and decides that he won't be slaying goblins anymore for a while. Noor realizes that he shouldn't be putting himself in dangerous situations, so he will move on to the next challenge, only after he has trained more and gotten stronger. A while later Rain is informed of the Goblin Emperor that was spotted. The Emperors are several times stronger than the Goblin Kings, so Rain can't even imagine how strong it was, since it also had a powerful mana crystal on its forehead. Rain fears that the stone came from the demon heart, and he wonders who could have been behind it. Then Rain is shocked to hear that Noor and Lin were able to defeat it, while only suffering minor injuries. Several strange incidents like this one have started occurring, so the guild has opened an investigation to find out what's going on. Back at the guildmaster is shocked that the little kid from years ago has turned into a goblin-slaying beast. Noor is very humble about it, as he gives a lot of credit to Lin, but Noor also decides that he should celebrate his first day of hunting. It might not seem like much to others, but his first day is a big deal to him. Hearing about the mana stone on the goblin makes Guildmaster wonder if what they fought was really a goblin. Noor is pretty sure that it was, and Lin just goes along with whatever her instructor says. Then Guildmaster asks for the goblin's ear so he can pay Noor for the job. Noor looks at Lin with a grim face, as they now have to explain that they don't have the ear, because they burnt the giant goblin to the ground. At the castle, Rain realizes from some documents that an enemy has encroached deep into his country. Rain urgently orders for troops to go to certain areas, and he even summons all 6 sovereigns. Rain is upset at himself for not figuring out this sooner, and he curses the Magic Empire for going this far. They want the dungeon's resources, and they clearly don't care about taking innocent lives. Rain is furious because the Magic Empire is coming to demolish the country. Back with our boy, we learn that the Guildmaster did Noor a favor. Noor didn't bring back the goblin ear, but the Guildmaster still compensated Noor in celebration of his first hunt. Noor and Lin finish up their celebration feast, and she decides to head home for the day. Lin wonders if that is okay with her teacher, so Noor says it's fine and thanks Lin for her help. Just then Rain appears and apologizes for having an urgent request. Rain asks Noor to take Lin to the mountains the next morning, and even offers to give them transportation. Rain can't give any details, but Noor can tell that this is serious, so he agrees to help. The next morning Noor thinks about how the real reason he agreed to go on this journey was so that he could finally see what it's like to be on a carriage. Noor has never traveled away from the capital, so the traveling is more precious to him than the money he is being paid to take Lin. Noor is also really excited because soon he will even be able to travel to different countries. Noor can tell that Lin is uneasy, so he tells her to enjoy the scenery with him. Then Noor thinks about how his dream is to become a normal adventurer and journey on his own. Lin apologizes for Noor having to take her, but Noor just says that he owes her for helping him with the goblin hunt. A moment earlier Rain instructed them to head towards the mountains and wait for a while. If nothing strange happens, then they will proceed to a place called Mitra. Lin hopes that nothing will happen, so Ines tells her not to worry because she is there. However, we learn that Ines has secret orders from Rain. Rain warned that the royal capital would fall into a crisis very soon. If she receives a report that the capital has been destroyed, then she will have to take Noor and Lin to Mitra. Ines refused to leave the capital during an emergency, but Rain reminded her that her main duty is to protect Lin. Ines apologizes to Noor for getting caught up in the situation, but he still just thinks of it as a simple trip. Noor can tell that Ines is worried about something, so she explains that protecting him is another one of her responsibilities. Ines tells Noor not to worry about anything, but Noor isn't worried at all. Noor intends to protect himself if anything happens, and he is confident that he can run away if needed. Then Noor is shocked to hear that Ines has a shield, even though it doesn't look like it. Ines reveals that it is a shield of light, and she instructs Noor to hide behind it if anything happens. The shield is incredibly strong since neither weapon nor magic can get through it. Then Noor thinks about the guy he fought at the castle, but he can't remember his name and just calls him Armadillo. According to what Lin told him, Gilbert is so talented that he was able to bring down a dragon on his own. Ines is just as strong as that guy, so Noor assumes that they are on a whole another level compared to him. Noor compliments her, so Ines tells Noor about her past. Ines was taken into an orphanage when she was young, and this was when she first realized that there was a mysterious power within her. Ines didn't know what was going on, and one little girl hurt herself. By touching Ines's mysterious power, Ines showed her powers to the sovereigns, and it became clear that it was a gift from the heavens. It was a historically rare one, as it could become a blade to cut anyone down, or a shield that could protect against anything. Depending on how Ines used it, it could easily allow her to annihilate even an entire country. Ines was taken in by one of the heroes named Dandalk, and she learned from all 6 sovereigns how to use her power. Ines could never get over the fear of hurting someone again with her power, so she distanced herself from everyone. That wouldn't last forever, and the reason why had something to do with why she was shocked to hear Noor's name. One day Dandalk was training Ines, and he was informed that another group of monsters were approaching. The situation was getting pretty bad, and under his breath Dandalk wished that Noor was still around. Ines heard him, but Dandalk just told her to forget what he said. This Noor person was someone that Ines's adopted father recognized, and she was envious of this mysterious person. Ines' envy has only grown since meeting Noor. Ines refuses to let her emotions cloud her judgment, so she once again vows to protect Lin with her life. Just then everyone notices a strange path in the field, and Lin uses her uncovered spell to reveal a monster. Back at the royal capital, the king acknowledges that the attack has begun, and he is informed that they don't have enough soldiers to fight all the monsters that have appeared. Rain takes charge and comes up with a plan to combat the monsters and evacuate the citizens. The king curses Darius for making a move on his threat, and he fears that this is just the beginning. Then Rain informs the king that the 6 sovereigns have been dispatched all across the capital. Nearby we see a group being attacked by giant goblins, and Dandalk arrives to help them. Then we get a glimpse of the other heroes arriving on the battlefield. The situation is getting more dangerous by the minute, but Rain finds comfort in knowing that at least Lin is safe. Back with Lin we see that there was a kid with the dragon, and he was determined to eliminate someone. When Lin shattered the dragon's barrier, the dragon shoved the kid away. Ines recognizes the black dragon, so she wonders why a ferocious monster would be out there. Ines tries to stop Noor as he springs into action, but it is too late as he confronts the dragon. Noor fights off the monster, but Ines points out that the kid Noor is protecting was already with the monster before they arrived. A moment ago Rain told Lin about demon folks. They are demi-humans who have the special ability to establish a mental bond with monsters at will. According to Rain, they are closer to monsters than humans. These demi-humans manipulated powerful monsters, and they nearly destroyed the city of Mitra, so they were hunted by humans. They were thought to be extinct, but it seems like their descendants are somehow still alive. Rain warned Lin to run if she never saw one because they surely have a serious hate for humans. Ines assured that this kid is manipulating the dragon and was probably planning to bring the vicious monster to the royal capital. Ines explains that the kid seemed to lose control of the dragon when the barrier broke, and Ines is shocked that Noor rushed in to help without thinking twice. Ines is angry, as she thinks Noor is being foolish, and Ines wonders who Noor thinks he is. Lin thinks they should help him, but Ines surprisingly refuses to help Noor. Noor continues to fight, but he calls the dragon a frog and thinks about how it is not nearly as strong as the goblin he fought. Noor plans to hold on until the girls arrive for backup, but the monster prepares a dragon breath. The kid will get hurt if he dodges, so Noor attacks the monster instead. Something terrible happens as the black liquid starts coming out of Noor's body, and Ines explains that this is the true horror of the dragon. Noor can instantly tell that he has been afflicted by poison, and now he can't move his body. This dragon eliminates everything comes into contact with, which is why it is called the Black Death Dragon. Lin tries to help Noor when the dragon goes to attack again, but Ines stops her because even a bigger poisonous breath is coming. Lin demands that Ines let her go, but Ines declares that her duty is to protect Lin at all costs. If she can hold back the dragon's attack somehow, then at the very least Lin will be able to escape. Then Ines declares that Lin's survival is the only chance they will have to revive the kingdom. Lin still tries to argue with her, so Ines explains that even just one breath of the poisonous gas is fatal, and even the hero's healing wouldn't be able to save Noor. The dragon unleashes its poison, so Ines protects Lin with her shield and promises to keep her alive. Lin's purification isn't working, and birds begin to fall from the sky. Ines apologizes to Noor because she originally wanted to protect anyone in danger, but her duty to the kingdom must come first. Just then girls are startled when a dragon claw falls in front of them. They can't understand what's going on, and they are shocked when they see that Noor is still fighting the dragon. Noor is in really bad shape, and Ines wonders if this determination is why Dandald wishes that Noor was still around. Now Ines realizes that Noor isn't foolish at all. Noor is actually the exact kind of person she always looked up to and chased after, doing whatever it takes to protect someone and being a true shield. Unfortunately, it seems like Noor is at his limit, and this is proven to be true when the next attack from the dragon sends Noor crashing to the ground. Surprisingly, Noor is relieved for some reason, and Noor says that he will be able to make this work out after all. Then we see a group of imprisoned children. They were considered cursed because they were born with the power to control magical beasts. They were called worthless children, and they were barely fed. One child in particular thought that the purpose of their power was to control livestock. However, one of these demi-humans used their power to control monsters during the war and eliminated a lot of people. Humans began to hate the demon folk, and they were hunted down. The one kid in prison was tormented relentlessly, and any attempts to speak were met with more attacks. This child also had the power to read people's minds, but this just made things much worse for him when the humans found out. No matter how poorly he was treated, this kid never once thought about retaliating. Even though he hated everything that was being done to him, this kid never wanted to think about hurting anyone. However, one day, the guy in charge of the prison told the kid to take some monsters. The guy told him that demon folk could be useful to people, and if the kid listened to him, then he would never be tormented again. The guy would let him eat whatever he wanted, and that would also go for all the other children as well. However, if he didn't listen, then things would get much worse for them. The kid couldn't read the guy's mind because he was wearing a device on his head, but he decided to trust him and end everyone's torment. A while later, this kid headed to the capital with the intent to eliminate everyone on the guy's orders. However, this was when Lin destroyed the barrier. The kid apologized to everyone because he had failed, and he was prepared for his life to end. Kid ended up not helping anyone at all, but he was at least relieved to have never hurt anyone either. Kid was happy to leave the world in this way, and he just hoped that if he were reborn, he wouldn't get beaten so badly in his next life. He hoped that he would be useful to someone, and said goodbye to this world. However, this was the moment when Noor rescued him. The kid couldn't understand why someone was fighting for him, and he became concerned for Noor when he was struck by the dragon's poison. The kid was afflicted by poison as well, but Noor did something, and the kid's bleeding shockingly stopped. Surprisingly, whatever Noor did also kept the kid away from getting poisoned again. The battle intensified just like we saw before, and Noor was relieved after being defeated for some reason. Another look back, we see something else Noor did after returning from the training schools in the royal capital. Noor made a soup from some herbs he gathered, but something turned out to be poisonous. Noor was in big trouble, as he could only use his low heal ability, and Noor could barely move. After a long night of pain, Noor eventually dragged himself to drink some water. A book on herbs revealed which was the poisonous one, so Noor tried to go back to training his parry ability. Unfortunately, Noor's body was still suffering from the effects of the poison, so he had to use his low healing ability again. After another day, Noor was shocked to see that he was finally feeling better. Noor eventually found the poisonous plant again, but he knew better this time. Unfortunately, Noor had terrible luck, and a highly poisonous snake bit him. Shockingly, the effects were off very quickly. Noor wanted to test something out, so he ate the snake, and was shocked to see that the poison barely affected him. The next day, Noor poisoned himself with another snake, but the poison spread slowly, and Noor realized that he had built a tolerance to the poison. Noor figured that this could lead him to acquire a new skill, and he developed a taste for poisonous things. As Noor began eating more poisonous things, he collapsed on occasion, but overall Noor was able to digest most of the poisons. Noor never acquired any skills from this, but he could eat poisonous things, at the cost of vomiting a small amount of blood. This was only a small price to pay, because Noor loved the taste of poisonous things. That is why back in the present, Noor has determined that this giant poisonous frog will be delicious. It turns out that Noor just couldn't counteract the poison in time, which is why he spewed out a little bit of blood. However, Noor knows from years of experience that much blood is no big deal. Noor is glad to see that his low heal ability protected the kid, and he goes right back to fighting the frog. The kid is stunned to see that Noor can take on such a horrible monster all by himself, and Noor surprisingly starts pushing the monster back. Everyone is terrified when the monster takes in a bunch of air for its next attack. Noor sees what is coming, as it is obvious that the dragon is about to use its almighty final strike. Noor is pretty fearless, and he uses parry to make the dragon send this attack straight into the sky. Everyone is stunned by what they just witnessed, and the dragon is defeated. There is something suspicious about this monster being so close to the city, but all Noor can think about is how this poisonous frog is probably really tasty. Noor goes to check on the kid, who reveals that he was the one who brought the monster. Noor is shocked when the kid says he is going to bring the frog to the city, but Noor thinks that this means the frog was meant to be delivered as food. Bringing the animal alive would be the best way to make fresh food in the city, and Noor thinks that the kid was concealing himself, so no one would rob him the valuable frog. Noor has the situation all wrong, as he begins to think that the poor kid probably raised the frog himself so that he could sell it. His misunderstanding gets worse, as Noor now thinks that he ruined the delivery of the kid's precious stock to the city. Noor apologizes profusely, and promises to pay the kid back for the frog. The kid says there is no need to pay him back, and reveals that he was able to bring the monster out here by controlling it. Noor is amazed that such a tiny kid could control a giant frog, and he wonders if there are more people with such a skill. The kid has never heard it called a skill before, and Noor is shocked to learn that this kid had this power since he was born. Noor determines that it is an ability gifted by the gods, and the kid stumbles on his words as he nervously reveals that he is demon folk. All demon folk have this ability, so Noor assumes that it is actually nothing too special. Noor always wondered what he would do if he had this ability, and all Noor could ever think of was ways to help people. The kid is surprised that Noor isn't afraid of him for being demon folk, and he wonders why Noor doesn't hate him. Kid reveals that everyone he has ever met has hated him for having this power, but Noor can't understand why. Noor tells him to ignore what everyone has told him, because this ability of his is incredibly useful. The kid is stunned to hear that he can be useful, and Noor says that he wishes he had this ability. The kid breaks down in disbelief, and he wonders if someone like him could be needed. Noor thinks about how, unlike himself, this kid was born with an ability, so he wonders how the kid could feel so useless. The kid begins to cry, so Noor assures him that there are plenty of people that could use his help. The girls finally arrive, and Lin frantically offers to treat Noor's wounds. The girls are stunned when Noor explains that he has already healed, and is pretty strong against poison. Lin can't believe it because the poison from the monster was extremely dangerous, and it was a miasma that even ruined the soil in its path. Taking a direct hit from it, and still being alive is extremely hard to believe. Lin realizes that there can only be one explanation. One of the heroes once told her about something called the sacred spirit. By honing one's body like a saint, a person can gain the ability to use a technique that purifies everything it touches and heals all wounds. However, the hero was only able to achieve this perfect technique after years of unconventional training. It took the hero 40 years to reach this power, but Noor is still so young. Noor wants Lin to tend to the kid's wounds, and she can instantly tell from his appearance that he is demon folk. Noor explains that he wants to take the kid with them, but the girls are fearful. Demon folk are a dangerous race, and many countries recommend eliminating them on sight. The girls warn Noor about the danger, but Noor wants to pay the kid back for destroying his frog. Lin points out that it was a black death dragon, and she is shocked to hear that the kid was planning to bring it to the city. The girls want to know who is making the kid do this, but Kid doesn't know anything about the guy. Then Ines realizes that this kid was a slave. Slaves are banned in the Clay's kingdom, but that isn't the case in other countries. Lin asked the kid where he was from, but he was blindfolded on his way here, and Kid didn't know much about the city he was in. Then Noor tells the girls that he would like to give the kid a ride to the nearest city. Lin thinks about how her father always warned her to not be misled by rumors and to trust her own eyes. Lin realizes that she was looking at this kid as just being part of a dangerous race, but in reality, he is just a kid with nowhere to go. Lin is ashamed of herself, and the kid introduces himself as Rollo. Lin wants to take Rollo too now, but Ines is hesitant. Demon folk are not allowed to enter Mitra, so it will be difficult to take him with them. However, it will also be difficult for Rollo to survive if they just leave him alone. It is a pretty difficult decision, because Mitra might consider them enemies when they arrive, and they might be attacked. Just then their difficult decision is interrupted, when a mysterious man appears, and he is obviously very dangerous. This guy reveals that he was hired by the person who sent Rollo to make his delivery. Noor apologizes for ruining their plan, but the guy doesn't care, and he just reveals that he is after the kid. Rollo is worth a lot of money, so the guy is there to take him back. This guy moves at blazing speed, and Noor just barely manages to repel his attack. The stranger explains that his client wants to end the kid's life, but it would be much easier for him if he eliminated Rollo right now, so he would only have to bring back his body. As they fight, Noor says that he doesn't understand what this guy's problem is, but the guy says that Noor doesn't need to understand anything. Lin is shocked to see how fast they are moving, because she can't even follow along, and Ines tells her to stay behind her. The stranger continues with his dangerous attacking style, but Noor manages to parry him every time. The guy doesn't lose his cool at all, and simply decides to chop Noor's head off. Noor parries the guy's attack at the very last moment, and Noor is shocked that the mystery guy was able to generate such power with just a tiny blade. The stranger is surprised as well when his blade falls apart, but he has another one that he uses to attack Noor. Noor realizes that he is in trouble, because all he can do is avoid the attack, on intuition alone. Noor won't be able to last much longer, because fighting while trying to protect Rollo is taking its toll. Lin is horrified by the power surging from their battle, and she can't even move. Ines uses her shield to protect Lin, and Ines reveals that she has just realized something. This man's appearance, along with his immense strength, has made it clear that he is the former S-rank adventurer called Zadu. A look back. Ines found documents from unsolved cases. This case was closed because the target was officially eliminated on record, but it wasn't true. The target was Zadu, who became an S-rank adventurer at a young age, which made him a target for other S-ranks. Ines was shocked to hear this, because S-rank targets are not usually humans. Gilbert was excited to take down Zadu, but the heroes told him to not even try. The reason they pretended that Zadu was eliminated was because he is actually too strong for anyone to take out. They decided to close the case, because they didn't want to send any more people just to get eliminated. Gilbert was still curious, so they explained that as a kid, Zadu mastered the ancient art of dwarven alchemy. At the young age of 13, Zadu earned the name Dragon Slayer. Gilbert was shocked, because that meant this guy was even more impressive than him. Zadu became very famous, and he was admired by all adventurers. However, Zadu did not always use his talents for good things. Zadu eliminated several civilians for an unknown reason, but the guild didn't want to take away his adventurer license, because he made many contributions to them. Zadu even took down a disaster-level threat monster on his own. The decision on how to deal with him was split, so they decided to postpone it. Zadu takes on any job as long as it pays well, and things like morals are meaningless to him. This was made clear when Zadu wiped out an entire country and eliminated an entire royal family. It was as if Zadu had no sense of good or evil. Back to the present, Ines explains all this to Lin. Zadu has been challenged by many adventurers, but it only resulted in a mountain of corpses, and the bounty on Zadu's head is now incredibly high. To prevent anyone from going after him, the guild announced that he was no longer alive. Zadu and Noor take a break from their fight because Zadu is disappointed to see that his entire collection of daggers has been destroyed. They are made of materials that aren't supposed to break so easily, so Noor wonders if Zadu is looking for reimbursement. Zadu thinks Noor is pretty weird, but not as weird as his sword. Zadu decides to play it safe as he tosses his sword into the sky, and Ines is shocked to see that it breaks apart into several swords. This attack is pretty famous, as it can take several hundred lives in the blink of an eye. It is a weapon that Zadu transmuted himself, and it is called the Silver Cross. Zadu uses it to attack, and Noor is barely able to protect Rollo in time. Noor knows that he won't be able to win, and Ines realizes just how terrible the situation is. Ines determines that Noor and Rollo will both perish if she doesn't help, but she reminds herself that her mission is to make sure that Lin survives. Ines realizes something and asks Lin for permission to leave her and assist in the battle. Noor does his best to fight back all the swords, but one of the swords is too fast for him. Luckily for Noor, Ines arrives just in the nick of time. Ines reiterates that her job is to protect Lin, but Ines also realizes that this means she must keep Noor alive too. Ines uses her powerful shields to push Zadu back, but it is clear that none of them is able to hit him. This is because Zadu and his swords are just moving way too fast. Ines realizes this as well, so she decides that she will focus on defense while Noor finishes off Zadu. Noor isn't sure if he can do it, because Zadu's swarm of swords moves around like a living creature. Just then Noor comes up with an idea and asks Ines to move one of her shields on his signal. Then Noor physic enhances himself, as he has Ines move a shield, and Noor launches the fangs of the dragon he defeated right at Zadu. The fangs are incredibly strong, and Ines is shocked to see that Noor was able to destroy Zadu's swords with them. Noor continues using his stone throw attack, and he manages to take out most of the swords. Zadu comes out of nowhere to attack Ines, but Noor manages to stop him. Zadu can't understand how Noor was able to stop his attack, but what's even more strange is that his dagger made of adamantite was broken by Noor. Zadu tries to attack again, but he just gets the same result. Zadu thinks Noor is a pretty weird guy, so Zadu asks Noor how he can see his attacks and counter them. Noor says that it is just something he can do, but Zadu can tell that there is more to it. Zadu decides to just call it a day and leave, because recovering his weapons after they have been shattered is a real pain. That isn't all though, as Zadu explains that there will be a huge celebration happening at the royal capital. This doesn't sound good at all to Ines, but unfortunately Zadu doesn't have any more details about this extravagant event. Zadu says that Noor is the strangest guy he has ever met, and Zadu tells Rollo to consider himself really lucky. Zadu goes for one last sneak attack, but Noor stops him once again, and Zadu points out that Noor is why he wasn't able to get his reward for retrieving Rollo. Zadu leaves, and everyone wonders what will happen in the capital. Noor thinks they should go back, especially since they won't be able to take Rollo to Mitra. Just then Rollo begins to shake uncontrollably, after hearing that they're all from the royal capital. Rollo tells everyone that they can't go back, because of something terrifying. Rollo heard that the biggest monster was going to the royal capital, and it was strong enough to wipe out the entire city. Lin realizes that this situation is more urgent than she thought, so Lin decides that they will return to the capital. Noor agrees with Lin's decision, but Ines refuses. Ines is shocked when Lin reveals that she knows exactly what Rain ordered Ines to do. Lin says that they will suffer the same fate as the demon folk if they abandon the capital, so they must return and warn everyone about the monster. Ines gives in and agrees to go back, but Ines tells Lin not to leave her side for even a moment. Noor thinks it would be best for Rollo if they split up, but Rollo refuses. Rollo is sure that a demon folk is the one bringing the monster, and even if he doesn't think he will be able to do anything, Rollo still wants to help. Lin sees how serious Noor has gotten, so she assumes it is because of his big heart. Lin is completely wrong, as Noor is just thinking about how he wishes if he could have taken a bite out of the poisonous frog. On their way back, Lin thinks about how worried she is, but Lin finds comfort in knowing that Noor is with her. Noor fought the dragon, and the legendary Zadu, so they should be fine. Lin determines that it is her responsibility to take Noor to the royal capital, so he can save everyone, and Lin calls him the man who practically jumps straight out of an epic hero's tale. Back at the royal capital, Rain is told that many citizens have been evacuated, thanks to the efforts of the 6 heroes. They fended off the enemy's ambush, but Rain is sure that another wave will be coming. This is the perfect time for them to do it, because the capital forces are scattered. Rain is sure that the enemy is just waiting for them to exhaust themselves, and preparing the next wave. Rain wonders which direction they will be coming from, and he realizes that they could come from the sky as well. Rain is told that there have been no sightings of flying monster, but Rain notices something strange in the sky. Rain is horrified when he realizes it is hiding above the clouds, so Rain uses his uncovered ability to break its barrier. Rain stares in shock, as he can't believe what he sees. A soldier wonders if it is a black dragon, but Rain points out it is far too big. This is actually their worst nightmare, because it's a dragon of calamity. In the past, Noor was taught by his father about how dangerous dragons are. A certain adventurer would slay these dragons, and the materials that came from them were turned into very high-quality weapons and medicines. This in turn brought wealth to the land, and it made the adventurer a hero, which the people would call the Dragon Slayer. Noor wanted to be a dragon slayer, but his father explained how difficult it is to slay a dragon. Some dragons are incredibly strong, and they have been alive for thousands of years. They can make the ground crumble with just one step, and they can even destroy entire mountains, just by swinging their tail. In fact, a nation was nearly destroyed by dragons that ran wild. Noor's father finished telling him these stories, but Noor never stopped wanting to become a dragon slayer. Back to the present, Noor and his group traveled back to the capital, but Lin is horrified to see the Dragon of Calamity. The gigantic dragon terrifies everyone in the capital, and Rain wonders if the Magic Empire understands the horror they have unleashed on the world. The Dragon of Calamity has been asleep for the past 150 years, but it should still be dormant. Rain becomes furious because this means that the Empire awakened the dragon. The dragon causes massive destruction with a single flap of its wings, so Rain orders for everyone to be evacuated. It's a terrible emergency, so Rain instructs his troops to pry anyone away from their belongings if they are hesitant to leave. One of the heroes watches from nearby, and she senses that magic is being used to obstruct all the evacuation routes. This is terrible, because it makes it impossible for the 6 heroes to unite. Then we see that the heroes have their hands full throughout the area. Gilbert tells the king to evacuate, but the king just instructs him to get the citizens as far away from the capital as possible. As for himself, the king has a job he still needs to do. Nearby, Ines determines that there is no hope left for the capital, because the dragon will surely decimate it. Lin fears that her father will use himself as a shield, so the citizens can escape, but Lin knows that even he is no match for the legendary dragon. Lin is terrified of what will happen, so Lin hopes that her father will just leave the capital instead of fighting. Just then, everyone is shocked to see how casual Noor still is. Noor says that he has never seen a dragon before, but Lin points out that the monster he defeated earlier was also a dragon. Lin explains that her father and brother are still in the capital, but it's too late to help them. Noor casually says that he thinks he can make it in time if he runs, but this just shocks Lin. Noor says that they can use her wind blast again like they did against the goblin, but Lin fears that the power needed to get him to the capital in time will end up hurting him really bad. Noor reminds Lin that his sword will take the burden of the damage. Noor says that he owes a lot to the people of the city and to the king, so he wants to help all Noor has to do is help the king to escape, and Noor is sure that he can do that. Lin snaps out of her pessimism, and she realizes that Noor is not someone that should be doubted. Lin's wind blasts are not meant to be used on humans, but Noor is not a normal guy. Another look back, the king refusing to hand over the Dungeon of the Lost to the Magic Empire. King was told that he was just letting it go to waste, because it had the power to create an army that could control the world. The king explained that he is just choosing not to use a power that is beyond their control. Back to the present, the dragon continues its rampage, and the king determines that the empire will stop at nothing to get the dungeon. King realizes that he underestimated the empire, because he never thought they would throw the full force of their might at them. Now the king takes full responsibility for the breakdown in negotiations. The capital is facing destruction, but all the king can think about is Lin's safety. This makes the king realize that the empire was right. He is not fit to be king, and he has always been more suited to being on the battlefield. The king apologizes to his people for failing them, and King vows to take at least one of the dragon's eyes with him. Back with Noor, Ines creates a cylinder with her shield to amplify Lin's wind blast, and Noor stands in front of it. To amplify it more, Ines uses magic to reflect on her shield several times. This is clearly becoming more intense, and Noor can tell that this is kind of different from the last time. Lin confirms this as she explains that the impact from this wind blast is going to be far stronger than it was before. Lin puts everything she has into it, and she apologizes to Noor in advance. Lin remembers not to doubt him, and unleashes the attack. Rollo is stunned by the amount of power being admitted, and the next thing he sees is that Noor has completely disappeared in the blink of an eye. Back in the capital, the king comes face to face with the dragon. Everyone watching is horrified, as the dragon prepares to use its dragon breath attack, because it is the one that burned the entire continent to a crisp several hundred years ago. The king realizes that the dragon is giving him no chance to survive, but he is determined to do something kingly, at least once before he dies. The king pulls out a dagger, and tells the dragon that he is going to show it how tenacious humans are. One of the heroes watching recognizes the dagger. It is the blasting dagger, and it channels all of the wielder mana into one powerful but sacrificial blow. The heroes are horrified to see that the king is going to sacrifice himself, but they realize that there is no other option. The king goes in to sacrifice himself, but Noor out of nowhere to parry the dragon's attack. Everyone watches in absolute shock, as Noor just shoves the legendary dragon, and the dragon collapses. The dragon wonders what is going on, and he is confused to see that a tiny human just knocked her off balance. Dragon declares that the strong control the weak with violence, and that is just the law of the world. Dragon Giant Tail does massive damage to the capo as it moves to strike Noor, but Noor just parries that as well. The dragon comes crashing down again, and Noor just thinks about how he thought he wouldn't survive. Then we see moments from a few minutes ago before, when Noor was launched towards the capital. Noor used physical enhancement to regain his balance, and he sent himself over the castle wall. Noor was surprised to see how fast he got there, but Noor realized that there was no way for him to stop himself. Noor didn't hesitate, and just used his parry ability. Noor never wants to do that again, and he thinks about how parrying the dragon was way easier than he expected. The dragon gets back up, but Noor doesn't think it is that scary anymore. The girls finally arrive at the capital, and they plan to help the king escape while Noor fights the dragon. Unfortunately, they end up getting attacked, but Ines manages to protect them in time. Several goblin emperors appear, but they are quite small compared to the one Noor and Lin confronted. Goblin emperors are still in a league of their own, so they are in big danger. Lin decides to think like Noor does, so Lin tells Ines not to worry, because they are only fighting goblins. Ines is inspired by her confidence, and agrees that these goblins are not nearly as terrifying as the dragon. These goblins end up blasting through her attack, but Rollo steps in and commands the goblins to stop moving. Lin uses the opportunity to freeze them, and Ines converts her shield into a sword. Ines destroys all the goblins with one powerful strike, and Lin realizes why Ines was given the Divine Sword title. Rollo is just as impressive, because he was able to stop the overpowered goblins with just a few words. Such a young kid having this power is incredible, but Lin can tell that it takes great courage for him to use it. Back with Noor, we see that the dragon is getting really frustrated. Dragon keeps attacking Noor, but he just keeps parrying her. Dragon's claws and scales should be indestructible, but Noor is somehow damaging them badly. Noor is shocked by how his sword never gets a single scratch, no matter what he swings it at. Noor wonders what the secret behind it is, but it doesn't really matter, because it is his key to victory. The dragon can't understand what is going on, but he realizes that he can stop worrying, because there is no chance that her next attack will fail. Dragon flies to the sky, and everyone watches as he gathers a ton of energy into her mouth. Then Dragon releases the powerful beam right at Noor, but Noor once again parries it. This sends the attack straight into the air, and everyone watches in amazement as its explosion covers the sky in light. The dragon lets out a roar, and Rollo can sense that there is more to its anger. The dragon is frustrated, because Noor isn't treating it as a serious threat, even though that is what it's trying to be. Dragons are very prideful, and this is especially true for the Dragon Elder, who considers itself to be stronger than anything. The dragon becomes furious because this fight has made it clear that he is the weak one compared to Nour. Nour parry another one of the dragon's attacks, and the girls are shocked to see that it has decided to submit to him. The townspeople watch from afar, and their mouths nearly drop to the ground. Nour remembers what his father said about the adventurer who defeated dragons. Slaying dragons brought wealth to the people, and he became known as a dragon slayer. However, Nour sees that this dragon doesn't want to fight anymore. Nour decides not to end the dragon's life, and thinks that he isn't really a hero anyway. The rest of his group rushes to him, and Nour waves to his friends. Nour tells everyone that he is okay, and thanks Rollo for helping. Rollo has no clue what Nour is talking about, so Nour explains what he just realized. The reason the dragon must have calmed down was because Rollo ordered it to. Nour is shocked when Rollo says that he didn't do anything, and the confused Nour points out that the dragon just stopped being hostile out of nowhere. Rollo had nothing to do with it, so Nour determines that the dragon must have been intimidated by just the fact that Rollo could control it. Then everyone is stunned when Nour tells Rollo to send the dragon back to where it came from. Others point out that the dragon is still very dangerous, so it would be best to eliminate it while they have the chance. Nour understands the risks, but he doesn't want to hurt the dragon. Nour knows that he is asking for something selfish, but Lin understands and agrees to allow it. Rollo isn't sure if he can order around such a powerful dragon, so Rollo thinks he will only be able to ask it politely. Nour can tell that Rollo doesn't like showing his power, so he assures Rollo that Lin and Ines won't be scared of him. These words give Rollo some courage, so he gives it a shot. Rollo can understand the dragon, so he informs Nour that it has decided to do anything its master orders. The girls can't believe what they just heard, but the clueless Nour thinks that the dragon is calling Rollo its master. Nour tells Rollo to have it quietly return to its home, and to make sure it never even tries to hurt humans ever again. Rollo passes the message along, and the dragon shockingly agrees to do everything Nour says. The dragon takes to the sky, and roars one last time before leaving. Everyone watches as the legendary dragon leaves peacefully, but Nour is horrified when a powerful attack knocks it right out of the sky. The terror is shared by everyone, and we see that the leader of the empire was behind the attack. Darita is pleased with himself, and he says that even a dragon that has lived for thousands of years is still just a stupid dragon in the end. The dragon was just a pawn, but Darita is disappointed that it didn't destroy the capital. Darita decides that he will just have to start the attack anyway, so Darita summoned his army nearby. There are a ton of troops, and the firepower of his army is unrivaled. In past, we see how the Empire planned out this attack. After the dragon decimated the capital, the troops were to come in and clean up. Foot soldiers would be equipped with magic swords and magic shields, while the elite troops would have magic armor and magic cannons. They would also have massive shields and gigantic mana cannons. The king was very pleased by the plan, but a soldier named Randius had a problem with the war. Randius didn't think that it would benefit the country in the long run, but he was just silenced by Darita. The king refused to let anyone pose a threat to them, and declared that they would show everyone the power of their magic. Darita wants this war to go down in history, so everyone can know about the foolish decision the Clay's kingdom made. Darita also wants everyone to know that it was a country of fools who neglected proper upkeep of the Dungeon of the Lost. They were led down the path of ruin by their own selfish greed. As for Darita, he will be known as the one who liberated the country of this foolishness. Nearby, Nour and the others find the dragon, but they can't tell if it's still alive without getting closer. Just then they spot the magical empire, and the empire spots them right back. They see Princess Lin, but what is most concerning is that Ines is with her. This is because Ines is one of the living legends, known all around the world, and Darita assumes that she was the one that saved the capital. The era where legends rule has come to an end, and Darita declares that it's time for those with wisdom to define the world. Darita orders for the mana cannon to be fired, because even if Ines is known as the Divine Shield, this weapon will still evaporate her into nothing. Ines will just be another legend to be defeated by his hand, which is why Darita loves war so much. The magic cannon prepares to fire, and they notice at the last second, so Ines tells the other to run away. The weapon is fired, and Darita declares that it's all over for her. Ines just stares as the huge beam approaches, but Nour shockingly steps up to parry the attack. The beam goes flying everywhere, and no one can believe what they just saw. Naritai and his troops are in such disbelief that they think there is something wrong with the weapon, so Naritai has them prepare another attack. Noor is amazed to see such a huge army, so the girls explain that they are trying to annihilate the kingdom. The Clay's kingdom has an army as well, but they don't stand a chance against the Empire's army numbers. Ines wants Lin to retreat with her, so Lin wonders what Noor plans to do. Noor says that it should be obvious, and Noor thinks about how he needs to run for his life and get away from this place as soon as possible. Lin agrees that it was a silly question to ask, but she thinks that Noor is going to do something heroic. Noor wonders why Lin is smiling, and wonders if Lin understood what he meant. Noor tries to clarify that he is going to run away, but they are interrupted by another attack. Ines blocks it this time, so the annoyed Naritai decides to take shelter at the rear of his army. They are being pinned down by all the attacks, so Noor determines that there is only one way to escape. Noor tells the others that he is going to distract the army, so they should use that time to get away. Noor thinks that he is bad at fighting, but Noor is confident in his ability to run away. In the past, Noor sharpened his running away ability by running from swarms of bees. Noor plans to run around like crazy, and Lin decides to give him some help. Noor is shocked to see that this means Lin is going to use her wind blast on him again, but she promises to control it better this time. Noor tries to clarify that he isn't just going to throw his life away, but there is no time to talk. Another attack is coming, so Noor enhances himself, and then Lin sends him flying. Noor is glad to see that he can deflect the Empire's attacks, and he flies across the battlefield. There is no turning back now, so Noor charges right at the entire army. Noor uses the parry ability which he spent on all those years practicing, and he disarms a ton of troops. Noor just wants to buy enough time for the others to get away, so he plans to run around and parry everything in front of him. Naritai is horrified to see his army being toyed with, and Noor appears before him. All the weapons that Noor parried went straight into the air, and they came raining down on the army. The giant shields were also parried by Noor, and Naritai can't understand what kind of attack Noor is using. Noor continues his chaotic attack, and Naritai wonders who he is. Noor once again ends up near Naritai, and Naritai realizes that Noor was the guy that was just standing next to Lin. Naritai can't understand how Noor covered so much distance, and he wonders why Noor is now ignoring everyone just to stare at him. Naritai fears that Noor knows that he is the Emperor, and he freaks out when Noor takes hold of him. The panicky Naritai reminds himself that his armor and sword are made of orichalcum materials, so he decides to fight back. Noor flies right past him, so Naritai assumes that Noor ran away, but Naritai just ends up getting knocked around by the mana cannons. Noor keeps flying around like a maniac, and reality sets in for Naritai. Naritai's giant army is being destroyed, and so are his shields, who were supposed to be able to defend against a dragon's breath. They are all worthless now, so Naritai demands to know who Noor is. Just then Naritai recognizes Clay's black blade, which used to be behind his throne. Naritai is horrified, because it is the one dungeon relic that he wants, above all others. What is most shocking is that this sword is made from an unknown metal, and it's supposed to be too heavy for any normal human to carry. Even the strong King Clays needed to use 2 hands to wield it. There is no way this random guy could surpass Clays, but Noor easily tosses the sword over his shoulder. Naritai is terrified of Noor, because he destroyed the entire army all alone, and now he is just keeping him alive to torture him. Naritai is so scared that he wets his pants and takes off running. Naritai hops on his horse and gets away from Noor as fast as possible. A look back to just moments ago, we see what happened from Noor's perspective. Noor managed to stop himself from getting launched, and he wondered who the old guy was. Even his horses were covered in gold armor, and the old guy just had a shocked look on his face. Noor didn't have much time to think, because the soldiers' weapons were coming back from the sky. The soldiers would attack him all at once, if they could recover their weapons, so Noor kept parrying them into the sky. Noor did the same to the giant shields, and he bumped into the old man again. Noor had to keep parrying the weapons, but he also had to remind himself to stop and take a breath before passing out. Noor didn't see a reason to parry the old guy's sword, because he wasn't a threat. Instead, Noor just kept parrying through the army. However, Noor couldn't help but think that the old man was going to get hurt if he stayed on the battlefield. The Emperor wondered why Noor wasn't ending his life, but Noor wanted to show him that this wasn't his intention. Noor was too exhausted to just tell him, so he smiled at the old man instead. This backfired, as Noor's awkward smile was terrifying, and the old man just ran away. Just then Noor feels a great deal of pain, and Noor realizes that he must have hit his limit. Unfortunately, his low heal ability can't heal exhaustion this bad. Noor coughs up blood, as he is surrounded, and he just hopes that others can escape safely. Just then, as Noor prepares for death, he is shocked to hear that someone is using a familiar attack. The soldiers around him are wrecked, but Noor doesn't remember Gilbert's name, and he mispronounces it several times. Gilbert is surprised to see how much damage Noor did all on his own. Noor is amazed when he sees the instructor he met a long time ago, named Sig. Doesn't recognize him, but he thanks Noor for taking on the army. Sig and Gilbert go to clean up the rest of the army, and Noor is stunned by how powerful his old instructor is. This is the power of the swordsman that Noor has always dreamed of being. The other heroes watch as well, but they are disappointed, because they ask Sig not to take too many lives. It can't be helped, because they are heavily outnumbered. These two decide that it's time for them to shine now, so they also begin attacking. The other heroes arrive to take control of the battle, so Oken shows his immense control over earth magic. Sane does things a bit differently, as he tells his group to heal the surviving enemies, so they can have the chance to turn over. Noor realizes that these were all his old instructors, and Noor can't believe that he was able to see them again. Lin heals Noor, and he is fine to move around again, but now Noor is hungry. The battle is over, and an interrogation has revealed that the enemy has no troops left. They threw everything they had at them, including a dragon, and they lost. The emperor was so confident in his army that he showed up on the battlefield himself, but he had to run away. Noor realizes that they are talking about the old man, and Oken is shocked to hear that Noor met the emperor. Noor describes the armor he and his horses wore, so Oken determines that it must have been orichalcum armor. It is very high-grade equipment that can support an extensive array of skills. This explains why the emperor was able to get away. If the emperor escapes to the border, then they won't be able to go after him. This is because there are bridges, as well as fortresses. Oken says that there is no way to catch up to the emperor, and he wishes that they all could fly. Then Oken is shocked when Noor says that there might be a way. However, this depends on if the being in his plan is still alive. Noor's idea turns out to be using the dragon. Oken is stunned, because he never thought that he would be able to see an ancient and legendary dragon up close. It is an incredible sight, and this makes living in an old age worth it for the wizard. Sane feels the same way, as this is the first time he has ever been tasked with healing such a big dragon. Sane gets to work and uses healing magic on the giant dragon. Sane remembers Noor, and is amazed to see how much Noor has grown. Oken didn't recognize him, and said, "Is this true?" Noor is glad to see that Oken is still alive and well, but Oken is insulted, because he plans to live for at least another 100 years. Noor thinks that the old wizard is funnier than ever, but Oken isn't joking. Oken doesn't think that trying to ride on the dragon's back is a good idea, but Noor explains that they will be okay, because they have Rollo on their side. Oken is glad to hear it, but he is horrified when Rollo says that he has no confidence in his ability at all. Just then the dragon begins to wake up, and Oken begins to panic. Everyone expresses their confidence in Rollo, but Noor can tell that the dragon is angry. Rollo is shocked that Noor was able to sense this, so Noor explains that he learned a lot from living in the mountains for a long time. The dragon desperately wants revenge, so Noor wants Rollo to order it to get some. Oken is amazed that Rollo has such control over the dragon, because it is waiting for his orders. Noor compliments Rollo as well, but Rollo begins to explain that it is listening to Noor. Unfortunately, Rollo is interrupted by the dragon's impatience. The dragon wants to go now, so Noor tells everyone to get ready to ride it. Noor is shocked to see that the girls want to go, so they explain that Rollo has to go to control the dragon, and they need to protect him. Noor doesn't think they would want him to go as well, but they do, and Noor thinks about how he is terrified of heights. It was Noor's idea, so Noor doesn't have a choice. Sane will go as well, and so will Karoo. Noor is shocked to remember this guy, who is his thief class instructor. Karoo will be in charge of concealing their presence. Just then the king and Rain arrive to declare that Rain would be going as well. Lin is glad to see her family, and Ines is prepared to be punished for coming back to the capital instead of escaping with the princess. Rain decides not to punish her, and instead he takes responsibility for giving such an idiotic order. The king leaves Rain to issue orders from here on out, and the king apologizes to Noor for asking so much of him. King needs Nor's help one last time and asks him to protect his children. Nor assures him that he will bring them back safely, and Rollo instructs the dragon to fly. Dandeld wondered if Sig was okay to just let Nor leave without saying anything to him. Sig explains that it is for the best, because in reality, Nor has never needed them in his life. Thinking that they would be able to raise Nor would just show their egos. This is because Nor was like a hero, straight out of the legends. Now Sig realizes that he was just being lazy these past few years. Sig realizes that he has no position to teach others after seeing what Nor just did, so Sig decides to retrain himself from scratch. Sig is inspired by Nor's abilities, so he refuses to just let his sword rust away. The heroes are pretty happy, because they were able to witness the spectacle that Nor just performed. On the dragon, everyone looks for the Emperor, but there are no signs of him. The Emperor is much faster than they expected, so they begin to wonder if he already made it back to the Empire. They approach a steel bridge, which marks the beginning of the Empire-controlled territory. They can't just recklessly run in, so they consider turning back. The decision is left to Rain, but Lin notices something moving at an extremely fast speed. It is the Emperor, and he is near to the Imperial capital's defenses. It is clear that they won't make it back in one piece if they cross into enemy territory. They are concealed for now, but if they get too close, then the enemy will detect that magic is being used. Letting the Emperor escape is not an option, because the Empire has access to powerful magic tools, and they are very dangerous. They cannot give them the time to rebuild their army. Just then Ines surprisingly asks for her permission to annihilate the entire area. They are running out of time, so Ines wants to destroy the enemy's defenses. Lin is shocked, because normally, Ines would never suggest exerting her power. However, this time, Ines is just as angry as the rest of them. The royal capital Ines vowed to risk her life to protect was just trampled on. Rain gives Ines the permission she was looking for, and Rain tells Ines not to hold back. Ines destroys the wall and follows up by attacking the base. Their escape route is now secured, but the job isn't done. Their actions here will determine the course of the war, so they will continue to pursue the Emperor. Rain plans to follow him, even if it takes them to the Imperial capital, and Lin says that she is ready. Everyone here wields power far outside the norm, and they are the strongest people imaginable. Above them all is her instructor Nor, and Lin can't even begin to comprehend his greatness. Lin admires Nor greatly, but we see that Nor is suffering pretty badly from being so high up. Lin is ready, and declares that they will show the Empire what happens when they mess with the wrong people. The Emperor returns to the Empire, and everyone wonders what happened. The Emperor is furious, and he blames his army for not being competent enough to use the advanced weaponry he gave them. Just then everyone is terrified, as they realize that the Dragon of Calamity is headed right for them. The Emperor was sure that the dragon was dead, and resurrecting a legendary dragon like that is impossible. However, Emperor realizes that they have Sane on their side, the man who is capable of using healing magic far beyond anyone else. Reviving the dragon is one thing, but getting it to do what they say is also incredible. This makes the Emperor realize that they must have a demon folk with them, so he desperately searches for his demon folk controller. The guy's name is Lude, but he had to go to another nation on business. The Emperor loses his mind, as he assumes that Lude betrayed him, and he commands his general to come up with a plan to fix the situation. Then the Emperor startles everyone when he tells them to prepare his ultimate weapon, called Kuranos. This weapon is still only in the testing phase, and they have no way to aim it properly. Its power output also remains too high, so the Emperor's aides beg him to change his mind. It's too dangerous to use in the city, but the Emperor points out the Calamity is approaching them as they speak. The others continue to plead with him, but the Emperor makes it clear that his decision is not up for debate. The weapon is prepared, and it takes all the energy from the city to power up. This is the greatest technological wonder in the Empire, and Emperor issued the order for the weapon to be fired. The Emperor watches as the greatest attack in human history begins, but Nor just parries it. Everyone is confused to see the ray just be deflected away, but they have an even bigger problem. The Emperor ordered them to use trace mana to aim the weapon, but that means that the Empire's mana furnaces had become the target of the shot they fired. The Emperor's aides start abandoning him one by one, and the Emperor is hopeless as he can only watch his empire be destroyed. A look back to just before the attack We see that Nor woke up just as they arrived at the Empire. This was just in time for him to see the shot being fired, and Ines prepared to try and block it. There was no need, however, as Nor leapt forward and parried the gigantic beam away. Everyone was left stunned, and Nor went crashing into the Emperor's castle. Meanwhile, the Emperor's general has come up with the solution to the situation. Unfortunately for the Emperor, the general plans to eliminate him. The Emperor begs for his life, but everyone hates him, and they refuse to obey him any longer. The Emperor is about to be eliminated, but Nor comes crashing in. The general assumes that Nor is trying to protect the Emperor, but Nor has no idea what's going on. Nor still doesn't know who the shiny armor-wearing guy is, so he gets him to safety by smashing him into the ground. Everyone thinks Nor is an elite bodyguard, and they ignore him when he says that there is just a misunderstanding. Nor parries their attack, but they resort to using a bomb. Nor protects the feeble old man again, and sends him safely into a wall. Nor realizes that the old guy is their Emperor, but he can't understand why they are ganging up on him. Nor protects Emperor one more time, but it's causing the Emperor more pain, and the guards wonder if Nor is trying to eliminate the Emperor himself. Nor makes a good case by pointing out how old the Emperor is. The Emperor will probably kick the bucket pretty soon on his own, so they should just let nature take its course. The general explains that they don't have time, because the enemy is attacking them, and they have the Dragon of Calamity on their side. They want to make it clear that they have no intention of fighting, and the best way to do that is by giving them the Emperor's head. Just then the others arrive. They say that won't be necessary, because they would rather the Emperor be alive, as he atones for his crimes. Rain asked for permission to take care of the rest, and Nor allowed it. Lin takes Nor to heal his wounds, and the Emperor begs Rain to spare his life. Rain says that he will forgive Emperor, but he then starts listing off all the victims from the war Emperor started. Several people lost their lives in horrific ways, and it was all because of the devastation that the Emperor unleashed in the city. There are 127 confirmed casualties, but there are likely even more. Rain once again agrees to forgive Emperor, but only if he is willing to experience the same amount of suffering as everyone he just mentioned. Afterwards they will talk about ending the war and finding peace. No one objects except for the Emperor, who wants to know what Rain meant by suffering. Things only get worse for the Emperor, as Sane explains what they have planned. Sane promises that he will keep the Emperor alive, no matter how many limbs they break, and no matter how many times his organs are crushed. Sane will heal him enough to participate in negotiations. The others describe the torment even more, so the Emperor wets himself again. They assure the Emperor that they won't be enjoying it, and they just want him to experience the same pain that he caused their nation. Rain says that it is a small price to pay for forgiveness, and he says that their nation is very merciful. Nearby Nor is healed, and he takes a look at all the damage that was caused by the beam he deflected. Nor feels terrible about it, but Lin explains that only mana furnaces were destroyed. They have so much mana in them that people can't even be around them. Rain arrives to explain that the war is finally over, and both nations will focus on rebuilding. Nor points out that the war just started, so he wishes they could have talked things out from the beginning. The Emperor will be stepping down, so his grandchild will be taking his place. The problem is that he is only 10 years old, so guardians will need to be appointed. These guardians are called the Circa of 10, and they are the group that Nor fought earlier. The group arrives to apologize to Nor for the misunderstanding, but Nor just scolds them for ganging up on an elderly man. The general reveals that he is ashamed of his actions, and he thanks Nor for preventing a civil war in the Empire. Nor thanks them back, because Nor thought he was a goner after falling off the dragon's back, but they had a perfectly good floor for him to fall on. The general is amused by Nor, and they decide to leave things as they are. However, he does promise to help Nor with anything if he ever needs it. Nor still feels bad about the damage he did to the city, but the general explains that there have been no reports of injury. The general points out that his nation was the one that broke the treaty, and these are just the consequences. Nor offers to help him in any way he can, but the general thinks Nor is too kind-hearted. The dragon is getting bored, so our group prepares to leave. The general finally reveals his name to be Randius, and our group heads home. Nor still has a serious fear of heights, so he tells Rolo to ask the dragon if it can fly closer to the ground this time. Lin thinks Nor is suffering from the guilt of damaging a nation, but it's really just his fear of heights. Our group makes it back home safely, and Rain explains to the king that Nor contributed greatly on the battlefield. Rain thinks Nor should be rewarded, but Nor refuses. because he doesn't need anything. The king insists and Noor realizes that there is something that he would like to ask for. Noor wants the king to help Rollo. Rollo is demon folk, and he doesn't have anywhere to live. Noor wants the king to allow Rollo to live in the capital, so he can live a normal life. Noor considered allowing Rollo to live with him, but Noor realized that it would be better for Rollo if he was looked after by a rich family. The king offered to give Noor a house and land before, so Noor says that it will be good enough. Noor says that Rollo saved him countless times, so he owes him his life. Also, the only reason that Dragon did what Noor said was because of Rollo. Rollo tries to clear things up about that, but Noor interrupts him to tell him to stop being so humble. The king thinks about how this is a big thing to ask for, because the country considers demon folk to be enemies. Accepting one into his kingdom will cause big problems. That's all Noor wants. And he says that any other rewards they want to give him should be given to the people suffering from the war. The king completely agrees, and Noor wonders why the king likes to laugh so much. Rollo thinks about all the things he wished for before meeting Noor. Rollo wanted to be useful to someone, and he wanted to eat a delicious meal, at least once. Rollo wakes up from this dream, and Ines explains that he will be living with her for now. Rollo is shocked to hear that the food on the table is for him, and Ines insists that he start digging in. Rollo is amazed by how soft and delicious the bread is, so he begins to cry. Rollo starts scarfing the food down like a wild animal, so Ines changes what she said before and tells him to slow down a bit. Ines promises that no one will take it from him, so Rollo smiles for probably the first time. Back at the kingdom, Noor is shocked by how much damage was done during the war. Noor is glad to see that the guild is still intact, and Noor stops to look at a signboard he hasn't seen in a while. Then we see how surprised the guild master was when Noor returned to the guild after failing to learn a single decent skill. What was most shocking was how Noor spent a full 3 months at every training school, but still failed to learn even just one. This was why Noor could not register as an adventurer. It's been 15 years since then, and Noor never thought that he would be reunited with his instructors from those days. When Noor was a kid, he begged Sid to let him train to become a swordsman, and he showed him the permit he got from the guild. Sid warned that the training would be harsh, but Noor was ready. Noor's first days were intense, and Sig thought that he would be lucky to last just 3 days. Surprisingly, 10 days passed without Noor giving up, so Sig was impressed by Noor's determination. One day Noor got hurt, but Sig just scolded him for dropping a sword. Surprisingly, Noor didn't give up, and Sig was amazed to see that Noor's eyes still had so much determination even after getting hurt. Noor wanted to know when he would learn a skill, but Sig didn't know. Noor begged Sig to at least show him a skill he might be able to learn, so Sig did. Noor was amazed by this incredible skill that he couldn't even see, and Sig thought about how it was a skill that made his slash difficult for even him to follow. It made sense that it could, like Noor couldn't see it with his bare eyes. Of course, then Sig was shocked when Noor perfectly described every move Sig made during the technique. This is when Sig realized that if Noor was nurtured properly, he might even be able to surpass him. However, after 2 months, Noor was unable to learn a skill aside from parry, and Sig couldn't understand why. If Noor could learn just one skill that could be considered useful, then he would be able to advance. Unfortunately, Noor never did. Noor desperately wanted to keep training, but Sig determined that parry's skill wouldn't be enough for someone to make it as a swordsman. Noor didn't have the aptitude for swordsmanship, but Sig still believed that he could become something great, so he recommended that Noor choose a different path. Dandald was surprised when Noor came to him for training, because he looked like a light breeze could blow him away. Dandald explained that a warrior's role was to act as a shield for their teammates, and Noor was determined to become an adventurer, no matter what. After 2 months of training, Dandald gave Noor some credit, because he didn't expect Noor to get as far as he had. One day Dandald had to rescue his trainees from a falling rock, but he was amazed to see that Noor was the only one tough enough to try and take it head on. Dandald was so impressed that he believed that if Noor just learned a single skill, he would be able to train Noor into becoming an invincible shield. Unfortunately, after 3 months of training, Noor was upset to hear that Dandald wouldn't allow him to train with him anymore. Noor improved his physical abilities slightly, but it wouldn't have been enough to help him survive the rest of the training. Dandald acknowledged that Noor was a hard worker, so he thought Noor deserved to be aware that his effort would be rewarded. Noor went to ask Mian to train him, but she wanted to test him first. Mian told Noor to try and hit a stick that was far away. Mian assumed that he would fail, and that she would be able to brush off his request. Unfortunately for Mian, Noor hit the stick with the rock, so she told him to do it again. Of course Noor did it, so Mian had no other choice but to train him. The problem was that Mian only allowed Noor to practice hitting targets with stones. Mian feared that Noor would end up causing trouble, but he wanted to practice with the bow. Mian eventually gave in, but Noor instantly crushed the bow with his bare hands. Noor just kept breaking them, so Mian let Noor use hers. Mian was sure that Noor wouldn't be able to break hers, but of course he did, so Mian had Noor throw stones again. After 2 months of impressive training, Noor explained that he learned how to throw stones by hunting weird-looking birds in the mountains. Mian was shocked, because she had heard of these notorious birds that are difficult for even a seasoned hunter to bring down. Noor's accuracy was incredible, so Mian wondered if there was even a point for him to train with her. After 3 months, Mian told Noor to leave her training, because Noor lacked the sense to handle any kind of delicate weaponry. In reality, Mian knew that Noor was very strong, even without a bow. Noor went to ask Karu to train him, but Karu had already heard about Noor from the other instructors by now, and he accepted Noor right away. Karu had his trainee sneak up on target, and he was very impressed by Noor. The next training session had everyone avoid some traps to get to a treasure chest, but Noor had something else in mind. While the others searched for the traps, Noor just ran right past them. Noor used parry to avoid attacks, and he threw rocks to attack snakes. Noor was incredible, but he completely missed the point of the exercise. After 3 months of training, Karu decided that he wouldn't be able to continue training Noor. Noor lacked situational awareness, and there was no hope of him becoming a spy. Of course Karu was impressed by Noor's stamina and determination, but just like all the other instructors, Karu didn't tell Noor. Karu was so impressed that he decided that he would invite Noor to join the Capital Intelligence Agency if he ever gave up on becoming an adventurer. Then Noor went to the Okan and explained that he had failed to train at the other schools. 2 months after training with the Okan, it was found that Noor couldn't use magic because no mana was flowing through him. The only hope to change that was for Noor to go inside some mana resonance chamber. Noor was eager to try it, but the old Okan was hesitant. Okan eventually gave in, but told Noor to leave the chamber immediately if things started to feel intense. After a while, the Okan was shocked to learn that Noor hadn't left the chamber for a long time. The chamber drastically amplifies all of the human senses, so Noor could have lost his life for staying in too long. Okan was shocked to find that Noor was totally fine, and Noor sent him away because he felt like he was close to a breakthrough. However, after a total of 3 months, Noor could only conjure up a small flame. Okan thought that this was incredible, because it is incredibly rare to see people as incapable of magic as Noor was. However, all things considered, Noor was still impressive for overcoming his limitations. Okan thought that was all, but then he was stunned when Noor conjured another tiny flame. This is called dual casting, and the Okan was shocked because it took him 50 years to learn how to do it. Noor was still upset because he knew that this wouldn't help him become an adventurer, and Okan agreed. Okan was incredibly disappointed because if Noor's body was just more tuned to magic, then he could have been known through the land as an unparalleled magician. Noor went to try his luck with Sane, but Noor never underwent the rite of blessing when he was younger. Only those who were selected undergo that rite, and were allowed to train at Sane's school. Noor vowed not to leave until he was accepted, so Sane just left Noor outside. Noor stayed out in the cold for days, and Sane just ignored him. Eventually Noor collapsed, but Sane was there to catch him. Sane decided to let Noor train with him, but he could not promise that Noor would learn a skill. After 3 months, Sane was shocked to learn that Noor had learned how to use the spell called Low Heal. Unfortunately, Low Heal is not recognized as a serviceable skill to become an adventurer. This meant that Noor failed again. Sane was still impressed that Noor was able to use low-level healing magic without a natural blessing. This should not be possible, and it meant that Noor technically might have been able to wield the power of miracles without limit. The next day, all the instructors were shocked to learn that Noor had gone missing. Mian thought that they could just leave him on his own because of how strong he was, but Sane had other ideas. Sane was sure that if all the instructors invested their time into nurturing Noor's gifts, then he would undoubtedly become someone extraordinary. Sane thought that they should all train Noor and guide him. All the instructors saw his potential as well, and they all agreed to train him together. Sig wanted to look for Noor himself, but they decided to work together to find him. Back to the present, the guild master is glad to see that Noor returned to the capital instead of going to Mitra. Noor had a long day, which is why he is all dirty, but the guild master explains that the construction guild master has been searching for him. He needs Noor to hollow away rubble and help build temporary housing. That's exactly what Noor came to do, so he goes to help with cleanup. Everyone is glad to have him helping, and Noor thinks about the crazy day he had. He was sent flying by Len's spell many times, and he did a lot of flying. He needs rest, but Noor decides that he can't until he cleans the whole place. At the castle, the king says that the theocracy of Mitra was working behind the scenes with Daridas in the war. This was evident by how many mana stones Daridas has had in his arsenal. Things will be dangerous in the future, but the king is confident because they have many strong heroes to protect the kingdom. More importantly, they have Noor on their side. Back with Noor, Lin arrives to greet him. Luckily for the starving Noor, Lin brought some food for him, and she distributed the rest to the others. Noor is ready to continue working, but he feels bad, because in his mind this amazing sword of his won't see much action in his hands. Noor still wants to be an adventurer, just like the heroes in the story books his father used to read to him. Noor gets back to work, but he takes a moment to casually save someone's life. Thanks for watching the video. So friends, if you liked our recap video, then please like and share this video and do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.